What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Trey Sense, and when you see this face and hear this voice, you know what it is. You know what it is. We got a little bit of a review, a little bit of a discussion. You know how we do it here on the channel. So before we get into this, I need a little work from you, need a little help from you. We're still trying to get to that 5,000 sub mark, so I need you to like the video. I need you to share the homie, and I need you to sub to the channel if you haven't already. So. But you can tell by the name of this video what we're talking about. We're going to talk about 7 inexpensive fragrances that are straight up compliment getters. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. Now, there are 2 on here that could possibly, well, one of them is definitely from a clone house. But I think it's the only one on this list that is from a clone house. And I'm giving you that disclaimer because I could have did this whole video with Lattafa's and Afnan's, you know. But am I missing one? Lattafa and Afnan? Al Haramain. I could have did the whole video, you know, with those. But I feel like everybody knows those fragrances. But there's still a lot of other inexpensive fragrances out there that you can get compliments with. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Some of these will come with a little story time, some of them won't. But this one, from the house of Calvin Klein, it is CK Shock. And I think this fragrance has been discontinued, but as far as I know, it is still readily available. I wore this to work one day, and one of the young ladies that I worked with at the time, she kept asking me, Trey, what is that you got on? What kind of colognes that you got on? I said, why? Do it smell good? Yeah, it smell good. And then she started calling out all these expensive names like Baccarat is the one that I remember, because I remember just looking at her like, if I had Baccarat 540, why would I wear it up in here to work at a grocery store? But I mean, to each its own. The fragrance that I had on was CK Shock, and I'm still trying to figure out how you would think that was Baccarat. So I asked her, do you have a bottle of 540? And she said, yeah. She said it was a gift. I just shook my head like, thinking to myself, probably one of them old truck drivers or one of them old dope boys. But nonetheless, this fragrance, surprisingly, for what it is a compliment getter. And what you have in this, for those that don't know, is a very sweet, fizzy tobacco. But it is a good fragrance, especially for the price. And I think I paid under $15 for this, because I got it at my local Burke's at the time. It Spells Now. Didn't have a price on it, and they were just kind of sitting around looking at each other like, we'll give it to you for $12. Sold. So I jumped on it, bought it, took it home. I've only worn it maybe once or twice, because I'll be the first person to tell you, when I first smelled it, I was just like, I don't particularly care for it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But I've grown in fragrances, and I understand now more where some of these companies are going with certain fragrances. And I like it now way more than I did in the beginning when I first got it. But nonetheless, CK Shock is definitely a compliment getter, and it is definitely cheap. Though it is discontinued, so if you find it, you may want to pick up a bottle and pick up a backup bottle of it as well. But that is a nice little Calvin Klein fragrance. This next one is from the house of Versace. And I'm not sure if Versace is considered a clone house or not. But this particular fragrance is Phaeton. And it is a clone, or it is similar to, what is it? Hermes EDT, I think they say. It's Hermes the EDT. I don't know. But what I can tell you is it smells really good, it's really strong, and it does everything that you want in an inexpensive fragrance. It lasts a long time, it projects good, and it smells good. And it just doesn't take a whole lot of this, and you can just tell by moving it that it's a pretty thick fragrance. I don't know if this is an EDT or an EDP, but what I can tell you is it lasts a good little while. This is one that'll get you through the day for sure. You can't overspray this, because if you do, it will be cloying. It is that strong of a fragrance, but it is very good, and it is a compliment getting fragrance. I was on my way into work one day, and a lady walked by me, and she stopped me. She said, you always have on that good smelling cologne. What is it you got on today? And I told her what it was. But every time I wear this, I get 2 or 3 compliments. It just, and you know, you can't wear a specific fragrance to get compliments because everything doesn't smell the same on everybody. And most of the time, especially in my line of work, yes, I'm around my coworkers, but you know, it's always different people coming in and out. So, but I say that to say it's hard to fish for a compliment. So if you wear these and don't get a compliment, it doesn't mean that people don't think you smell good. So just saying, just throwing it out there. But from the house of Versace, it is Phaeton. Put those 2 right there. This next one is it's from a very well-respected designer. But if I think about it, most of his fragrances are clones of more expensive stuff, and this one is no exception. But this is from the house of Perry Ellis, and it's a great fragrance that doesn't get a lot of talk and a lot of love, and it's Perry Ellis White. And this looks like a building or something in Seattle. But what you have with this one, it's a Le Male clone. And for this reason, I never bought Le Male, and the original Le Male anyway. And I just said that you can't wear a fragrance to get compliments, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or that every time you wear a fragrance, you're not going to get a compliment, which is true. But I can't remember a time that I wore this fragrance and didn't get a compliment. I'm just going to tell you. I cannot remember a time when I wore this fragrance that I did not get a compliment. I remember the first time I wore it. I wore it and I was going somewhere and I had to go by the barbershop to get my hair cut. And it was, of course, a barbershop. It's a bunch of men in there. When I walked in, all of them kind of got quiet. And they was like, big boy, man, whatever that is you got on, so smell good. And then it just ensued a conversation. And one of the older gentlemen that was in there, his name was Robert. He used to sweep up the hair in the barbershop for him. Rest in peace, Rob. He's no longer with us. I told him what it was. It's just Perry Ellis White. And that ensued a whole conversation about Perry Ellis. That was where I learned about Perry Ellis Red. Perry Ellis 360 Red, that is. So another time I wore this, my mom had just gotten sick with her battle. And she was in the hospital, and I went down to Memphis, where she was at the time, to see her. And I had this on. The nurses were going crazy. And I'm just like, man, you know, like, and at this time, you know, I was still, most of my fragrance collection was still $25, $30 and under. So, you know, Perry Ellis White. I wore it around a friend of mine and her daughter, you know, one time, and they were just sniffing, and they finally was like, you know, you smell good. It's very powdery. So I think one of them was picking up on the powdery aspect of it and said something about baby powder. But if you were to layer this with some JB's baby powder, scented lotion, shea butters, I don't think you would go wrong. But honestly, I don't remember a time wearing this and I did not get a compliment. It's just a good fragrance. It's going to draw similarities to the original Le Male, but for the price that you can pick this up, which is $13 or $14, $15 at the most, I don't see how you can go wrong. From the house of Perry Ellis, it is Perry Ellis White, and I think that fragrance should have been labeled as a unisex fragrance. Now this one is definitely a clone. They didn't try to hide it. I'm surprised they didn't make the bottle look more like it. But from the house of Lattafa, am I gonna get the name of this right? And it's Rams Gold, maybe? Rams Silver? I think this is silver. I think the gold is in a red bottle, right? And what this is a clone, well, coincidentally, this is another clone of Le Male. I didn't do that on purpose. Oh my goodness. Can I get to it? It's right there. It's not in the navy. Ultra Malt is what this is a clone of, and man, that smells so good. This smells so good that if my Ultra Malt hadn't been a gift from the big homie JP, I would probably sell it. That's how good this smells. That's how good this smells. And I paid $16 for this. True story. True story. I wore this to work. Clocking in. Trey, you smell good. Thank you. But, I didn't just say thank you. I just looked at him and said, I always smell good. Clocked in and kept walking. Get to my register. Trey, you smell good. Whatever that is. Thinking, okay. I'm like, this shit right here, this right here really works. About an hour or two later, one of the younger girls walks by me. She stops, she goes, Trey, I like that scent. $16 at your Burlington, TJ Maxx maybe? No, I haven't seen it at TJ Maxx. I got mine at Burlington. I think somebody said they found theirs at Marshall's maybe, or maybe Ross, but $16, you're gonna get a Lattafa fragrance that smells at least like an $80 Ultra Malt fragrance, but it smells so good. I mean, I sprayed it in the air and it's in the air. It is thick, it is sweet. It's a good time of the year to pull this one out, man. Man. Signature scent worthy for $16 right here. I can't express to you enough how good this smells. But another cheapie that will get you compliments. And this is young, old, whatever. Again, the House of Calvin Klein. And this is an overlooked fragrance, very underrated. It got a little bit of buzz and then it just died out. I got mine at a really good deal because TJ Maxx had a plethora of them around Christmas. They weren't selling and I was able to pick it up for about $30, and it is from the House of Calvin Klein, and it is Defy, the EDP. I wish they would make a parfum version of this just to see what it would be like. And this is smooth, leathery. It reminds me of Tom Ford Fabulous is what it reminds me of. Now, the EDT of Defy, as I've got my bottles out over there, is the reason I glanced over there. The EDT of this is a compliment getter as well. I've gotten compliments on both of them every time that I spray them, every time I wear them. I'm down to here on the bottle from wear and from decant, because people, they want decants of this every time I put it in the video. They're like, yeah, send me a decant of that, and I'm like, okay. But it's nice, man. It's nice. It's leathery. Great for the cool weather. Very sexy, very seductive fragrance. Hats off to Calvin Klein for this one. Is it the most original thing? No. But at this stage in the game, it's hard for anything to be original because something is going to smell like something. It's just the way that it is. I mean, that's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is, guys. So, but with that being said, I wore this to the barbershop one day, and one of the barbers had went to the bathroom and he was washing his hands. He was coming out and he walked by me, and I was just kind of leaning forward like this, waiting on my turn, just rapping with some of the guys in there. He stopped. He said, "Big boy, you sure know you be smelling good." Calvin Klein Defy. Again, get to work, and I'm just, going on about my day because I forget that I have on a fragrance. I know I have on one, but I forget because I'm busy doing my thing or whatever. And one of my coworkers, again, is like, "Trey, you smell good." Whatever that is, I like it. And that's one thing I like about working with the people I work with. Because if I smell good, they'll tell me. And if it's one that they'll be like, "I don't know about that one." Like, I'll give you an example. I had on Lady in Red's version of Viking. And it was this one chick I used to work with. I kind of took her under my wing. She was like my little niece or whatever. Just used to just give it a game or whatever, we were just cool like that. Young enough to be my daughter, and that's how I treated her. It was this older lady, and she walked by me and she said, "Oh, you smell so good." And I was just like, "Thank you." And she said, "Can I sniff you? It reminds me of my husband." So I was like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." So she sniffed me, and then I just, of course, things like that are just funny to me. So I'm chuckling, trying to keep from laughing out loud. And she leaves, and I said, "See, I told you I smell good." Em looked right at me and goes, "Mm-mm." She said, "I don't like that one." She didn't like it because Viking is a very aggressive menthol type of fragrance. Younger generation, they're not gonna like it. Older generation, she loved it. So, but that's one of the things I like about working with the people that I work with, because if something don't smell good, they're gonna be like, mm-mm. Something is too strong, they're gonna be like, mm-mm. But if it smells good, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's nice. So that's that on that. This next one, I had worn 2 or 3 times and nobody had ever said anything. I wore this to work one day and I'm bagging for one of the cashiers because I was bored. It was a little slow. I had on Vince Camuto's Black. And again, this is one of those fragrance lines that once upon a time, when all of them were out at the rack stores, you had the white, the orange, the blue, the black. I had the blue. Bought the white, didn't really care for it, and just never bought the orange. But for some reason, I kept the black. I traded the blue to somebody, I can't remember, probably JP. But I wore this to work. And this lady, as a matter of fact, I saw her yesterday, which was the last day I worked. Well, today's Saturday, I saw her Thursday, which was the last day that I worked. And this fragrance, to give you just an example, what you have here is just a simple woody fragrance. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing reinventing, nothing just extra special. Not the reinvention of the wheel. Now, does it smell good? Yes. I can't emphasize to you enough how many compliments that you can get from a fragrance that just smells basic. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, those fragrances will pull you compliments, especially from women. It could be that, you know, so few men wear fragrances now. I even had one chick tell me, she said, yeah, there's men that wear fragrances, but they don't put it on. She's like, you know, if my man wears a fragrance, I want him to put it on. And I was just like, I'm with you on that, sister. I knew it was something about you I like. But this one right here, again, just a basic, sweet, woody fragrance. It is not, you know, sitting on the beach watching the tide roll in or anything like that. It's just basic. But I can't tell you how many times I've worn a basic fragrance and gotten compliments versus the times that I've wore something that I thought I've sprayed on my Dior Homme and parfum, and, you know, stepped out there like, you know, you can tell everybody where I walk, I'm a ladies man. Thinking, you know, I'm staying alive, I'm strutting down through that, I might say nothing. Then I spray this on and it's like, oh my God, you smell so good. But anyway, back to my story. So, and this chick come in the store all the time, right? You know, and we boys, so I won't tell y'all. I remember her back in the day. She's still fine, but she was a stone cold freak. Everybody knew it. So, you know, she married now, but still, them, you know, but, you know, some of them, you know, you can change, a leopard don't change his stripes. You know what I'm saying? And you can turn up into a housewife. Anyway, let me get back on track. So she's standing there and I'm bagging. And you know, when you moving, your body heats up, so the scent starts to, she looks around and she's like, something smell good. And then she goes, is that my perfume? I sprayed it on early this morning. It shouldn't be still smelling. And the cashier's looking at me because they probably thinking, you know that's you. I don't know why you ain't saying that. And I'm just sitting there with this grin on my face like Tweety Bird when he didn't, like Sylvester when he didn't swallow Tweety Bird. So I'm just standing there like, and then I guess she kept getting whiffs and she finally looked and she said, is that you? She said, is that you? And I'm just like, I just started laughing, you know, because it's funny to me. She leaned in and she did one of them Jeepers Creepers on me. She said, that's you smelling like that. She said, what in the world is that? She's like, I smell a lot of cologne. And then she just kept sniffing me. Just, I mean, look, I told you she was a freak. She paid for her groceries and I'm still standing there. When she got ready to leave, sister girl put her nose all up in her and was sniffing. She was like, you better be careful with that. I'm thinking, you better be careful. You don't want married. It is what it is. But all that commotion from Vince Camuto's Black. It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. But that is a very simple, basic, woody fragrance. Sweet, woody. That's what you're gonna get from that. No lemon, no citrus, no grapefruit, no pineapple, no birch, no cotton candy, sweet as gold, no Tootsie Roll, nothing. Just sweet, woody. But it works. It works. Last but not least, this right here. Don't wear this if you ain't trying to catch no cougar. It's some Cougar Catcher 3000. Spray this on and go in the gas station if you want to. Them cougars gonna go crazy. When you spray the Jimmy Choo, watch the cougars go crazy. Watch the cougars go crazy. It's a little Young Jeezy for y'all. Jimmy Choo Man Blue. Jimmy Choo Man Blue. Now this one right here I got for making a purchase at Dillard's, pre-ordering. They were giving away Jimmy Choo testers for every fragrance that I pre-ordered and spent $100. So you know, I got the whole Jimmy Choo collection. And this is one that I had before. And it's what you think it is. It's a blue fragrance. Is it a good blue? Yes. Really good, really smooth, creamy. Smooth, creamy blue. With a touch of the Jimmy Choo Man Intense DNA mixed in it. Really, really good fragrance. Wore this to the gas station. I just stopped in there to get me something to drink. It was hot in the middle of the summer. I stopped in there to get me something to drink. I go get my drink, put my stuff up on the counter. There's 2 old biddies in there, them old biddies, man. In this little town I was in, it ain't a whole lot of black folks in this little town. But these 2 old biddies, man, I put my stuff up on the counter. One of them stepped back, oh my God, you smell so good. And the other one leaned in, oh, you do smell good. And at this time, again, you know, I don't blush, but I get to grinning and cheesing like, oh, yeah, shit, I know it. I know it, I smell good. So then she says, you smell delicious. And that's when I knew it was time for me to exit stage right. All that commotion though was Jimmy Choo, Jimmy Choo Man Blue. What you got with this one again? Picture the original, picture Jimmy Choo Man Intense with the creamy blue twist. And that's what you have with this fragrance right here. But it is really, really good. And ever since then, it's been that Cougar Catcher 3000 right there. So I don't pull it out a whole lot because I'm on the catch and release policy. I ain't trying to keep no Cougar. Catch, release. But that right there will do it for you, man. That's just a good one. And it's relatively inexpensive. All of these are. All of these can be had easily under $50. Most of them can be had under $30 if you shop right. And some of them can be had under 20. So, you know, I know at least 3 on this list I paid under 20 for. The Vince Camuto, the Perry Ellis, the CK, and the Lattafa. That's 4 out of the 7. I know I paid under $20 for. $20 and under. Well, it was $19.99, you know, so with tax, you know, but you get the drift. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to smell good, guys. You just don't. All right, but with that being said, I'm gonna get off of here and edit this video, piece together me a little thumbnail and get it up so you can see it. Happy Saturday. Got some big games tomorrow. My boys got a tough one with Louisville coming to town. Georgia, them dogs is coming to Alabama. So I don't know what happens when a dog bites an elephant, but we're gonna find out. It's the same thing we're gonna find out when the leprechaun get hungry for some chicken. But anyway, I love you all, and may God bless you all, and thank you again for being the best part of this channel. Continue to check in with me, let me know where you're watching from, and all of that good stuff. We are on the road to 5K, and I will see y'all there. Thank you for returning to the scene of the crime. I love you all, and may God bless you all. Until next time, guys, peace.